All right, so you are welcome to the last tutorial set question on errors, and this is tutorial set question 3, and this will be part 4 of the errors video. Now, this one takes a little difference because here you see that the bookkeeper of the firm has given you the trial balance already, and you see the suspense here at the debit side, so you see it clearly. Now, we are going to correct the errors. So these were the errors that happened. They are just up to H. Then we are going to pass the journal to correct the error, draw up a suspense account. But this time around, we are not going to draft an adjusted P&L. We are going to also redraft the trial balance, and the trial balance must balance. All right, so that is another way of going around it. All right, so how then do we go about it? So what we are going to do is to correct these errors. All right, so that is what we are going to do. As usual, in whose books is this all these errors happening? All right, so we are not giving a name. All right, so we can go on and do our general journal. So if you are asked the use of general journal, don't hesitate to say that the general journal is used to correct errors. Okay, so that is that. All right. So these are debits. We put in our CD sign. These are credits. We put in our CD sign. Okay. So details. First one, what do we have? We are told that purchases has been undercast. If it was short recorded, we need to record it. So purchases. I think we've done much to have experience on these things. So right now, it was only about purchases. So suspense, and this is 75,000. 75,000. So purchases undercast. Now corrected. All right. So you do that. B. Goods bought from a supplier amounting to 185,000 has been posted to the credit side of his account as. So you see, if you bought goods, all right, so what happens is that you bought it on credit, so you have to credit that person. When they were crediting that person, what did they do? They undercredited. So it means, have you seen? They have undercredited it. So it means we need to correct it by adding the difference. So here, the debit will now be the suspense. The credit is what? The creditor. So creditor. So what is the difference? We have 185 versus 158. So 27. 27. All right. So what will we do? So we said that undercast of credit or undercast in the credit account or undercast of credit account. Now corrected. All right. That's all. C, what happens? There is a check of 160,000 received from a trade receivable and paid to bank. Paid to bank has been dishonored. Nothing concerning the dishonor has been entered into the books. So you see, as far as the guy is concerned, he has paid, but the check has been dishonored. Just as you learn in bank reconciliation statement. Do you remember? Just as you did in bank rec. What then happens? So the guy gave you a check. You took it to the bank. The check was dishonored. It's as good as saying that the guy didn't pay you anything. So he still remains your debtor. So the check was dishonored, so he didn't pay. That's the meaning. So the debtor, how much is that? 160,000. All right. Then we have bank. you credit it, because what you would have done is that you would have reduced the supply, the data balance and debited your bank, but the money never reflected. It never happened. So you have to correct it. If you don't, your bank rec will not balance. All right. So that is that. All right. So this annex check, reversed, unreversed. So we are corrected it now, corrected. That's all. We come to D. Let me draw this thing a little longer. So in your exams, use the full page to do that. All right. So that is that. Let's look at D. What happens to D? An item of 8,000 entered in sales returns book had been posted to the debit side of the customer who returned the book. The sales return book is already a debit. So it should be crediting the customer, but they debited the customer. So since they debited the customer, we are going to credit the customer, but we have to double the figure, because if you credit the customer with this 8,000, all that you have done is to cancel it. Nothing has happened, but the 8,000 has to reflect in the credit side. So what are we going to do? We are going to go into the customer. All right. So it has been entered here, but posted to the debit side. So we are going to credit the customer. So customer. So let me call it a receivable, right? And that receivable is going to be 16,000. Then suspense will take the other side. 16,000. How do I always know it's suspense? I do know because the one side of the entry has already been done correctly. It is only one side the thing is affecting. All right. Only one side it is affecting. But if it is affecting double sides, also check. All right. So that is that. But on most of the time, the one that goes to suspense is that the thing is affecting only one side of the account, one side. That's how it's always like. So I mean, return inwards debited to the customer. Now corrected. This is where I will advise you to go and watch the videos on the day books. You understand what a return inwards is, all right, and it will help you, because return inwards is like you sold something to somebody. The person has returned it. So if he returned it, you would have debited the person. Now that he has returned some, you need to credit the person. All right, so that is that. And instead of crediting the person, they debited the person. So that is how you get to understand. So it's good you get the basics from the day books. All right. And we also have here E. An old equipment sold at 50,000 has been entered in the sales day book. Now you do know that when you sell an equipment, it doesn't go to the sales day book. Like we said, it goes to the general journal. The things that goes into the sales book are sale of goods on credit. So you see, that is, go back to the sales day book. All right. The videos are in the playlist. Check the playlist and understand the sales day book, those day books. So now the total of which has been posted into the sales account. So they carry the wrong thing to the sales account. Now in the sales account, they credit sales account, but the thing shouldn't be in sales account. So what do? You have to take it off the sales account. So we are going to debit the sales account. So that is what is going to happen. The corresponding entry, therefore, will be on our suspense. So 50,000. 50,000. So that is what happens. All right. So you can say that sale of machine posted to sales day book now corrected. That's all. That's all. Let's go to the next one, F. What do we have in F? Discounts amount, no, it says an amount of 45,000 owing to a supplier has been omitted from the list of sundry payables. It has been omitted. So it means we need to bring it. Now, so how do we bring it? So it means that you are going to put it inside the sundry creditors or sundry payable account. All right, because if you don't do that, the balance sheet side is going to be affected. All right, so that is what you are going to do. Now, in doing so, what you're going to do is that you're going to credit that sundry. All right, then what else do you do? What else do you do? You're going to go back and record the thing inside the corresponding entry here being the suspense. So what do? You will do a credit of creditors, sundry creditors, or sundry payables. So that is what you are going to do. 45,000. Then what do you do here? You create your suspense. All right. So how much would that be? 45,000. So basically that is that. All right. So that is it. Now let's go to G. We have discounts. Now in the discount, it was 4,000 and it is allowed and has been duly entered in his account, but not in the nominal ledger, which means the nominal ledger is discount. All right. So discount allowed is an expense. All right. So this one, I didn't record the narration. So let's say omission in sundry creditors. Now corrected. All right. So that is that. Then we have the next one, G. So it was omitted in the nominal. So the nominal is the expenses account, the nominal ledger. So this one too, I asked you that. Go back and watch the video of ledgers. You understand what the nominal ledger is. It's a ledger for the accounts, the expenses account. So discount allowed, the account wasn't recorded. So you will now record it and the amount is 4,000. 4,000. So we have, which one is the next one? Suspense, obviously. So omission of discount allowed, now corrected. All right, so that is that. Then the last one, which is what? H. All right, so for H, we have an amount of 10,000 being treated as prepaid in the previous year had not been brought forward in the balances as balance in the rate account. So why don't you bring it forward? Bring it forward. So that is that. So rent prepaid not brought forward. So you have to bring it forward. So rent account. So how much is that? We have 10,000. Suspense then 10,000. So rent prepaid not brought forward. Now corrected. We are done. So we now need to pick and go and do our suspense account. All right. So basically that is that. We've gone through this. Check. All right. Gone through this. Purchases. This has been done. This 160. The narration correct. An item of 8,000. Also correct. We've done the double. It's correct. An old equipment sold. 50,000 has been entered in the sales day book, the total of which we done the disposal of equipment. We did sales and No, is it so? No, it's supposed to be, it's an old equipment sold, has been entered in the sales day book, which was supposed to be in the journal. The total has been carried and posted to the sales account. So it means this side we need to correct something, because what we see here, this is not about suspense. It's about, since they didn't do the other side, it's supposed to be disposal of the equipment. So the equipment account is the one going to be credited. All right. So that is that, because it's an equipment. All right. If you sell an equipment, you go back and credit the cost of that equipment. All right. So that is that. So, well, if you had gone to the suspense account, you realize that the difference, maybe that will not make it balance, will be the 50,000. So when we go there, you will see it. We've done also this one, 45 is done. The narration, everything is correct. All right. Then discounts. Then the last one, 10,000. So let's draft our suspense account to prove if everything is okay. So we have our suspense account. All right. So what was the balance? Balance, what was the position? 1,000 here is at the debit. So balance brought down 1,000. Then we start from the top. We have the first suspense at the credit for purchases. So purchases for 75,000. Let's go and check. Second suspense at the debit, creditor 27,000. For payables or creditor 27,000. Then whereas this one doesn't have suspense. Suspense at the debit, receivable 16,000. Can also call it data, right? 16,000. Where next we have, this one is not part. Creditor, debit 45,000. All right. So another payable is 45,000. Okay. Then what else? Suspense, discount allowed, credit 4,000. Okay. $4,000. Then where next? Oh, where next? Have I overjumped? Okay. We've done this, we've done this. Then the last one is 10,000. Rent, suspense, credit. So let's go here, 10,000. So you see that there is a 9 that will be hanging. So if you check this one, this will give you 3. Yeah, that is it. It will balance. So rent, was it rent or rates? It's rates, 10,000. What word did I use down there? Rent or rates? Supposed to be rates, right? So let's deal with this. Call it rates. All right, so let's do the balancing. So let me calculate. We have 1,000 plus 27,000 plus 16,000 plus 45,000. That's 89,000. All right. Yeah, you can see clearly it's 89,000. because this one is 79 plus 10, 18. So that's that. The next thing we need to do is to redraft our trial balance. So the trial balance, that's the last one. You correct the trial balance. So trial balance as at December 2021. So it's the same thing. You draw, right? And the trial balance must balance. You don't create another suspense, okay? So put your city sign here. So there is business premises. It is there. Nothing affected business premises. So we will just repeat it. If something had affected it in our errors, we would have done the correct thing. So how much? We have 314,000. Now, what about the equipment? So equipment you can repeat here. But remember also that we saw that there was an equipment that was disposed, wasn't it? An old equipment that was disposed, right? So equipment disposal account must be created. So that is that. So where was that? All right, this one. We were told that an old equipment was disposed. So what we need to do is that the cost of our equipment as we see it, all right, that whatever cost that we have in there, these are what do we call it? The assets, all right, maybe the net book value. But remember, we sold an equipment and we need to credit that. And so this is it. So you can reduce this equipment by that figure, all right? You can actually, or you can decide to create another equipment disposal account. But this is equipment, that one too is equipment. So why don't we reduce it by that? So it was how much? 50,000, right? So we will now record 100. Where is it? 150,000. Okay, so you saw that. So equipment, unless that these things are net book values, but if they are their cost, we can choose to do 200,000 minus the 50,000. So we will have 150,000. So that is it. Or you can record 200,000 and create another line called disposal of equipment and put that 50,000 on the credit side. All right, you understand? So what I'm saying is this. So if I choose not to go this route, what I'll be doing is to recording 200,000 here, all right, and record that thing that is in the credit side of the trial balance that we did. You will come and do it at its credit side. Easy peasy. All right, both ways you are not wrong. Because it is equipment, I mean, equipment has been sold. That's why I've reduced my cost of equipment. All right, so that is that. As for sales, there are so many things that happen to sales. So many things happen to sales. So we are going to figure out all the things that happen to sales and bring them in. So we have sales. All right. So there are so many things that happen to our sales. So if you take your sales, for example, this is the opening balance of your sales. Now, if you have this opening balance of your sales, all the things that affected the sales, you are going to also do same. Don't forget, sales has a credit balance. So for example, if I open my sales here, so you see in this one, you have to do a little working. So we had 900 here before. So what are the things we did to sales? So go and find out in your corrections, the things that you did to sales, all right? So if you find all of them, then you correct your sales. So where is sales? Anywhere you see sales. So purchases, suspense. Where do you see sales? Sales, there is a debit to sales. So you need to go and debit sales. Is there any other sales? Okay, it's just only one. So we could have even done it on the surface of the trial balance. So there was a debit to sales. So which was the disposal of the assets. So it was 50,000. So it means that the balance on sales is like 850. 850,000. So 850 is what is supposed to show. All right. So sales. So what we did is that they included something that shouldn't have been there. So we had 900,000. We need to less 50,000. So we have 850,000. So that is that. For purchases, I think we had plenty stuff, right? Well, let's go and check our purchases. If you don't do it well, your trial balance will not balance again. So we know that the purchases had this amount, 625. Then let's go to what we did. So where are you? The first thing we saw was the debit to purchases. So you add debit to purchases, 75,000. So this is a balance brought down. And it was an undercast, which the corresponding entry was your suspense. What else? Do you have any other purchases? Any issue embodying purchases? Okay, so this one is a creditor. So if we come to trade payables too, you have to affect it. You see that. Then this one, all these things, you affect it in their respective places. So it is very important that you do the correct thing. I think there's only one. So if I now add this one, how much am I getting? So 625 plus 75, that is 700. So it means what is going to my purchases will be 700,000. So purchases, so it was 625. Now you can choose to do the working somewhere and bring the total amount, or you can do it inside here. I prefer you do it elsewhere and bring it. All right, so here is 700,000. The next thing, inventory. I don't think we had any statement about inventory, did we? We never had any issue on inventory. So 80,000. Trade payables we did, and even trade receivable we did. Bank we did, rates we did, and all these things we did. So let's go to trade payables. So for example, this trade payables had a balance brought down of how much? 30,000. Now let's go to the corrections and see all those things that affected the payable. Where are you? Payables. So we have a creditor here, 27,000. So we need to go and affect the credit side. All right, so of 27,000. So I think the corresponding was suspense here. 27,000. Not only that, what else do we have? We need to go back and see the others. What do we have? Where are you? Is there any other thing concerning a creditor apart from this 27,000? There's another creditor here at the credit side. So 45,000. We need to go and deal with that one too. All right. So it's 45,000. So another one. 45,000. If I add everything, what am I getting? 30 plus 27 plus 45. That is 102. So 102,000. So this one, I guess it was also suspense, right? So we go to this side and we put in 102. Oh, so 102. How much? Let's say is it payables, trade payables. At the end of the day, this thing must balance. So that is that. The receivable too, the same thing. What are the issues there? Well, let's do it somewhere down here. Trade receivables. You can number these things. So for example, I have done 1, 2, and 3. So I can call this one's number 3. And when I come here, instead of putting the thing in the figures, I'll write here workings 3. So that is that. So the next one is trade receivables. hoping to let that one be workings 4, right? All right, then bank. I think there was something that affected bank. I can write the workings 5. We have general expenses. What can go into general expenses? The discount allowed issue, right? I can name them working sales as I'm going to do that. Capital account. Was there drawings in this one? No. So my capital account won't change. So the 600,000 will be there. It will be there. So I can write 600,000. 600,000. So let's go and look at the issues in the trade receivable. So the receivables, we know the balance is 90,000 and it's a debit. So what are the things that affected the receivables? So let's go to our general journal and fish out those things that affected receivables, starting from the top. So the data. So I need to, you see this one, as you are doing this, you will be doing the bank too. So I need to create a bank alongside. So I think that's the only bank thing here, right? Yeah, that's the only bank thing here. So I'll close out the bank. So it's what? First one is 160, but there's another one here for receivables. So let's go to that 160. So bank is here 160. Then if I open my bank has a debit of 180, and I'm supposed to, so bank brother, I'm supposed to credit it with the receivables, right? And it is 160. So the bank will be remaining only 20,000. Have you seen that? 20,000. Don't forget, I've told you that these things, you always look at what the position of the brought down to take it, to know whether it's a debit or credit. Have you seen the brought down? So if this one also is to come here, balance brought down of 20,000, of course you have 180,000 here. So it tells you that what this one is supposed to sit in the debit side of the trial balance. So let's go. Bank has now changed to what? 20,000. So where are you? Bank debit 20,000. So I'm not done with my receivables here. So let's go and continue. What are some of the things that affected the receivables again? So the 160, and there is another one, credit side, 16,000, suspense. So the receivables, there is a 16,000. 16,000, right? Okay, so this one was workings number what? So bank and receivable, so 4 and 5, right? So this one is 5. You name it. 4. Is there any other thing affecting receivables again? Let's fish out. So, I think it ends here. So there is nothing. Yeah, discount allowed, for example, is against your receivables. All right. But here you didn't write anything receivable. So go and create a discount allowed expense. All right. So we will do that in the general ledger. Yeah, general expenses. All right. So what do we have for our debtors? So I have 250 minus 16, right? So 250 minus 16, how much will it be? So it's because 90 plus 160, that's 250 minus 16, that is 234. So 234 is my balance here. 234,000. So I'll go and slot it in here. All right, 234,000. All right, the general expenses is where we would do the discount allowed. All right, so general expenses is having a debit balance. General expense, balance brought down of 25,000. There is even rates. Or you can simply write the general expenses of 25,000, bring out your discount allowed on its own. I think that is the best way we can do it. So let's write our general expenses as it is, because there is rate. I thought they've combined all the expenses together. So we can say, what do we call it? So let me shift this one. Down a little. So I'll keep my 25,000. Then I'll bring in the discount allowed. I even skipped rates. Or you can even add everything now. How much was the discount allowed? Because it was once. It's 4,000, right? So 4,000. Discount allowed 4,000. Then I also skip the rates. But let me put the rates here. Because the rate is 15,000 before. So what happened to it? Am I going to subtract? Is here, I'm adding debit another 10,000. So that is that. What happened to the rate? What you see inside the rate is that they said that these rate expenses, okay, so but there is rate assets, which is the balance brought down. They didn't. We just had to bring it. So 25,000. All right. The machine is telling me my time is up. So let's total. Hopefully it balance. If it doesn't balance, God have mercy. So let's try. Okay. So let's see. Okay. This three side is 850 plus 102 plus 600. I have 1552. So it's left with this side. I start with 25,000 plus 4,000 plus another 25,000 plus 20,000 plus, look at 20,000 plus 234,000 plus 80,000 plus 700,000 plus 150,000. Is that all? Because I'm having 1,238,000. Is that all? There's some upstairs. Okay, so there is another one, 314,000. Yes, it balances. So that's all. 1,552,000. So that is how you go about it. All right. This one takes a very long time, a little. And that is how you deal with it. So thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. And don't forget to like the video. When you finish watching the video, like it. Comment, share it, subscribe to it, and God will bless you. See you soon. Bye-bye.